Hello, nice to see you all again. This is an unscripted talk or breakdown of my thoughts on the Detective Pikachu trailer. I've been wanting to do more videos like this, so hopefully if I can just stay on track and stop being such a lazy doofus, I'll be able to do so. Anyway, let's get into it. Firstly, I want to say that this was a wonderful surprise. I wake up one morning and I see Detective Pikachu trailer is dropped, and I watched it, and that gave me enough energy to just power through the whole day. I was elated. It was a feeling that I haven't felt in ages. Just genuine, pure excitement about something new. And I know that's probably the jaded adult in me, or maybe, I don't know what it is, but it was really refreshing. I haven't felt that way since I was a child and I got Pokemon Fire Red on Christmas. But yeah, I watched it and I was in love with it from the moment we saw Detective Pikachu. Now, like everyone, I thought that Ryan Reynolds was a really odd choice. It was sort of like, oh yeah, it's gonna be live action, okay, yeah, Ryan Reynolds is gonna be voicing Pikachu, okay, yeah, of course he is. And then total radio silence. But then the trailer dropped and it's like, okay, so we're actually doing this. And at first, I don't think he was really the best choice, but he is a very good actor and his popularity has definitely skyrocketed after Deadpool. But the more I watched it, the more he grew on me, and I kind of really like the interpretation of Detective Pikachu being different from the game. That's another thing that I really enjoy about this. It's not I know Tim Goodman, the human character from Detective Pikachu, and Detective Pikachu are in fact already established characters, but unlike Ash or Red, they're not time-honored characters, it's not too bad that they're completely different in this movie as they are from the games. I thought it was very strange that Detective Pikachu was going to be the subject matter of the very first live-action Pokemon movie. But honestly, it works. It's really nice that we don't have these celebrities portraying characters that we've known for all these years. I don't want some famous person that I already know their voice and how they look to be portraying Ash, Misty, and Brock. I wouldn't like that. That would not gel well with me. So having brand new characters that are just new, they're allowed to be whatever they want, and that's great. So I don't think anyone's going to be upset that the personality of Tim Goodman isn't on point to the games, because it's clear they're very different experiences. And that's fine. In the games, Detective Pikachu is much more gruff, and I know everyone wanted Danny DeVito, but I think this version works well as well. Ryan Reynolds brings a real heart to the role. I really believe that he is the character. It's great. It's really great. Next, I want to talk about the designs of the Pokemon. They're fantastic. Honestly, if you had told me that the person they got to do the designs for them ages ago was the person who made this artwork, I wouldn't have been too pleased. Honestly, I'm not really the biggest fan of these. I feel like they miss the kind of point that most of these Pokemon are, and they stray too far from the designs altogether. However, it's clear that this individual is a very talented artist, because they understood the context and they didn't just make the Pokemon look like monstrosities or anything weird, too strange. Unless the Pokemon was supposed to be strange. They reeled it back, and these designs are wonderful. Bulbasaur, perfect, love it. Pikachu, wonderful. I know a lot of people saying Pikachu's too fluffy, but I know it's supposed to be a mouse, but I've always seen Pikachu resembling more so rabbits than mice, and rabbits can be fluffy. And who knows, maybe Detective Pikachu, much like the games, doesn't look like a standard Pikachu. So maybe he just happens to be fluffier and other real Pikachu are smoother. Who knows? But honestly, if that's the only thing we're complaining about, then we're off to a really good start. I adore the fact that Detective Pikachu has a white belly. That was part of Pikachu's design way back in the first generation. It was scrapped for some reason. I guess it was never really, I don't know, it was one of those little tweaks, some Pokemon used to have little fangs, but then they dropped them after the second generation and whatnot, and that's one of those things that they just stopped doing. But this, they Didn't have to do it, but they gave him a white belly, and I love it. It's just brilliant. It shows that they know what they're doing. Mr. Mime is wonderful. I want to just say that. Anyone who's saying Mr. Mime is scary doesn't understand that Mr. Mime has always been kind of odd. I don't know, people are afraid of everything. There are people who are afraid of dogs. There are people who are afraid of bugs. Like, this is the best you could have done with a Mr. Mime. I'll get onto more of that later. Jigglypuff is the only one that I'm not too... I don't know. Now, this is kind of biased, but I have this one book that a good friend of mine got for me for my birthday. It's called Field Guide to Kanto. I advise everyone to buy it. Unfortunately, I cannot actually show the design in that book, but I think that is a very good way to interpret a Jigglypuff. I would show it, but because you have to pay for the book, yeah, I think it would be a little distasteful to share around any photos from it. So I'll leave a link below. Charizard, perfect. Greninja, based on... To make the Pokemon designs, they actually made a bunch of 3D models, like actually real models, which is amazing. That's something I would have done if I had made a Pokemon movie, to be honest. I would have loved to have puppetry mixed with CGI like Jurassic Park, but oh well, these CGI Pokemon look amazing. Greninja, I do not like its eyes. It should have been, I know that's not how it looks in the official designs, but Greninja's eyes should have been like Kermit the Frog's. Maybe I've just read too many comics, but I don't know, there's too much white. It just does not look right. I really love the way Pokemon have been incorporated into the world. Just so many large crowd scenes with all these people with all sorts of Pokemon. Just, that's what Pokemon feels like it would be like if it was real, you know? Tons of people walking the streets with their pets, you know? Like, I love it. There's all manner of Pokemon from all generations, which is great. It's so nice to see this is not just pandering to Generation 1. And at the same time, it's not just advertising the latest Pokemon generation, like so many other movies have. Like, Pokemon movie 20 was incredibly disappointing, because it's like, hey guys, how about we have a little nostalgic throwback to everyone? Oops, nah, turns out we're just gonna advertise Marshadow. Okay. Cool. The next remake of Pokemon 2000, it's just going to be an advertisement for Zorua. Like, that's all it's going to be. Same with Pokemon Origins. That was supposed to be a nostalgic throwback for people who grew up with it. But right at the end, they're like, hey, here's some Mega Stones. Okay, alright. It's just nice to have something that just feels like it's set in the world of Pokemon and not trying to advertise anything. I mean, especially because the game is already out. It's not really promoting the game, because the game's been out for ages now, and when the movie comes out, it'll have been out even longer. So it's just a story set in the Pokemon world, which is really, really refreshing. It doesn't feel like a shill or some kind of soulless advertisement for the next gimmicky thing that they'll forget about come the next gen after, you know? I love the humor. I think from what we've seen, it's very funny. I'm worried it's going to be a little bit like Deadpool, where they've put all the good jokes in and we'll get sick of them really fast, but honestly, I don't think that's going to be the case. The scene with Mr. Mime, I think, is hilarious and really shows that these people know what they're doing and really respect the source material. They could have done anything with this, you know, just generic Illumination style jokes, just loud noises, funny sounds, junk like that, but they chose Mr. Mime to be interrogated. A Pokemon that mimes. It doesn't communicate through sound like the others, it likes to mime, and that's really funny, so there's a lot of comedic potential with that, and what we've seen so far is hilarious. I was laughing really hard. It was great, and the fact that right at the end when Detective Pikachu goes to jump at Mr. Mime, it throws up a light screen. For those who don't know, Mr. Mime is able to make hard air by like rubbing the air, pretending there's a box there, and it actually becomes solidified air. And that's something that you wouldn't have known unless you actually looked into it and researched what Mr. Mimes were like. And I think that's amazing. They didn't need to dumb it down or just do anything stupid with it. They just made a joke out of what that character is possibly able to do. And that... I know this sounds so simple and like I'm gushing over such minor details, but the devil is in the details. It's the little things that add up, and when they just show respect for the source material like that, it makes me so hopeful. It's just so nice. So all in all, I hope you enjoyed my little gush there. I know I've probably said things that other people have said a million times over, but I just really wanted to show appreciation for this. This is the sort of thing that we need to show studios that we want, because this looks great. And if we support things that are great, they'll hopefully keep making great things. So whenever something good happens, someone needs to point it out. Just be thankful for the good things that you see. Well, with all that being said, I am incredibly hopeful for the future, and I'm very much looking forward to this Pokemon movie. This is essentially what I've dreamt of my whole life, and I know a lot of people relate to that sentiment. What are you excited for? Do you want to see your favorite Pokemon brought to life? Do you reckon they'll incorporate it? Who knows? Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video.